Welcome to Just a Minute. Hello, my name is Nicholas Parsons, and as the minute waltz fades away, once more it is my pleasure to welcome our many listeners, not only in this country but throughout the world, but also to welcome to the programme four talented, diverse, delightful, interesting, humorous players of the game who are going to display their humorous dexterity, their verbal ingenuity as they try and speak on the subject they give them, and they will try and do that without hesitation, repetition or deviating from the subject. And they are, seated on my right, Tim Rice and Chris Neill, and seated on my left, Linda Smith and Tony Hawks. Will you please welcome all four of them? And as I said, they're going to try and speak without hesitation, repetition or deviation. Beside me sits Janet Staplehurst. She's going to help me with a score. She's going to blow a whistle when the 60 seconds have elapsed. And this particular edition of Just a Minute is coming from the delightful Mermaid Theatre, which is in Puddle Dock near Blackfriars Bridge, near the centre of London. And we have a delightful cosmopolitan audience who are just dying for the show to start. Anyway, we're going to start the show with Linda Smith. Linda, the subject I have in front of me is how to attract someone's attention. Can you tell us something about that subject in this game, starting now?
How to attract someone's attention? Well, the best way to attract someone's attention depends on your situation. For example, if you are an audience for Just a Minute, the best way to attract Nicholas Parsons' attention is to moan and murmur and howl.
Tim challenged.
Murmur, mur.
Oh, Tim.
So you're suggesting repetition within the actual word?
That is getting a little bit pedantic, if you don't mind me saying so. No, I mean, murmur is a word, so she wasn't repeating the word.
You might want to use it in a song one day.
Linda, that was an incorrect challenge. So you have a point for that. You keep the subject. There are 44 seconds available. How to attract someone's attention, starting now.
How to attract someone's attention? If you're in a restaurant and you're trying to attract the attention of the waiter, you often need to go to quite extreme lengths. For example, you need to stand on the table, stick your cutlery in your ears, wave a napkin about and say, "Oi, you in the penguin suit! We've been here half an hour. Can we at least have a menu?" Sometimes even this doesn't work, and you have to actually walk physically into the kitchen, grab the offending person by the throat and say, "Are you ever going to notice us?" What?
Chris, challenge.
Sorry, it's just a question. Do you enjoy going out?
Honest, because I'm barred from most places.
Chris, the audience enjoyed what you said in the interruption, so I give you a bonus point for that. Linda, you get a point because you were interrupted. You have 10 seconds still available to tell us something about how to attract someone's attention, starting now.
How to attract someone's attention isn't difficult if you're Chris Neill. You just wave your bonus points.
Tim, challenge.
Repetition of wave.
Yes, that's right, you were waving before.
Yeah, well, a lot of waving.
So, Tim?
But in fact, drowning, as it turns out.
Tim, you've got a great challenge. You have a point for that, and the take over the subject, 5 seconds. How to attract someone's attention, starting now.
Get your kit off and run up the aisles starkers. This will always attract people.
So, in this game, whoever is speaking when the whistle goes gains an extra point. On this occasion, it was Tim Rice, and he's equal now in the lead with Linda Smith, just ahead of Chris Neill and Tony Hawks. And, Chris, we'd like you to take the next round. It's going off the rails. Something that very rarely happens in Just a Minute. I've never been known to do it myself. Chris, going off the rails, 60 seconds, starting now.
Whenever I play this game, I always think to myself, now stay on the subject and be good and funny. It never works. I always go off the rails. See, lack of laughter proves my point. And I've stopped.
Tony, challenge.
I think there was a slight hesitation.
There was indeed, Tony. You have a point for a correct challenge. You have 48 seconds, going off the rails.
What gave you the clue there? Was it him saying, "Oh, I've stopped"?
Well, I'm not going to give away my secrets. I've got my own method, you get yours. competitive, this.
Tony, 48 seconds, going off the rails, starting now.
There's nothing I like more than playing this game, although it can make you go off the rails. The excitement is intense. 3 people wait nearby with...
Chris challenge.
Do we need to let some air out?
So what is your challenge when
I'm
the rules
sorry,
are
I'm just on this bonus point thing. I know I'm never getting any legitimate points, so I'm just sort of saying
give him
slightly
his
stupid
bonus
things.
point.
Thank you.
Tony, you were
I cashed them in
interrupted.
for tin peaches.
I can't give you 2. 40 seconds, Tony, another point to you. Going off the rails, starting now.
We live in a competitive world. There are a lot of stress out there for people to deal with. Not everyone.
Crittenden challenged.
I thought a bit of deviation from the English language there.
What?
There were a lot of stress out there. There were a lot of stress out there.
Did I say that?
Oh, we did.
Well, as the audience didn't hear it, I think we have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Tony, another point to you, and 34 seconds, going off the rails, starting now.
Time for me to try a new emotion as I speak about this subject, because it goes down very well with the other panellists when I move around with it.
Chris challenge.
Not that popular.
I think you've evolved a new way of playing the game. Come in with
He
the...
just stands on the sidelines and heckles.
He heckles his way into the lead. All right, another one to Chris. 26 seconds with you, Tony, now. Going off the rails, starting now.
I was trying to balance on a railway line not that long ago, last Tuesday in fact, and I kept slipping off to the left-hand side. Very disappointing. The wind was coming from the other direction. Foolish, but I was overcompensating by a big duffel coat.
Linda challenge. You're struggling to think of a challenge.
I was overcompensating by a big duffel coat.
I was going to go on to explain
I know, no, what
what
say
the
it,
buckle
Tony.
coat was doing there. It's a
Oh, it's a
fascinating
buffel
story.
coat now, is it? It's a buffel. They're even worse, aren't they? You get a lot of them about. I'm
Anyway,
sorry,
Tony-
this is sheer surrealism. I was by a duffel... No!
Linda, we enjoy your contribution, which is more of it between the shows than on the rounds. Tony, it was an incorrect challenge. You still have the subject. 13 seconds, going off the rails, starting now.
The Rails were a pop band that I went to see many years ago when I was at school. They were a fine group, able to play most kinds of music, but...
Tim challenge.
Repetition of a go. I was going through his extremely boring speech around the first part.
I
He
can
said,
have it typed
not
out
long
for you."
ago, last Tuesday,
Yes.
he was standing on a
You're
rail.
correct. You don't have to
And then he-
justify, Tim.
Oh, really?
I quite agree with you.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Fine.
3 seconds for you, Tim, on going off the rails, starting now.
I was in the band called The Rails, and I was extremely upset.
Tim Rice was then speaking as the whistle went, getting that all-important extra point, and he's now equal in the lead with Tony Hawks, and they're both 1 point ahead of Linda Smith and Chris Neill, who are equal in second place. It's very even, and Tim, your turn to begin. The subject, Achilles. Tell us something about that interesting subject, starting now.
I always thought Achilles was a big hunk of a man until I saw the film Troy, in which some cove called Brad Pitt pounced around for 2 hours and 15 minutes in a skirt and frankly lost virtually every fight he had. He was a nasty piece of work. He whipped his weapon out at any opportunity
Hint of hesitation.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, you've got such a filthy-minded audience here that, and in just a minute you do have to say sword.
So that's another rule. In just a minute, you have to use the word sword. Where you can, best to get the word sword.
Sorry if you didn't. If you misunderstood the double entendre the audience were laughing at, it's unfortunate for you, Chris. I'm not
Do it.
it was a massive hesitation. Linda, you had the correct challenge. 42 seconds, Achilles, starting now.
Of course, course, Achilles is famous for his heel, which tended to chafe a bit in those sandals he used to wear. This wouldn't have happened if he'd gone to Clark's and got an extra wide fitting in one of those kinds of footwear that my mum used to...
Tim, challenge.
A deviation of wide fitting wouldn't help the heel problem.
Wait for it, ladies and gentlemen. A very interesting debate is coming up.
You can't justify that, Linda.
You'll love this.
So you're a chiropodist now, Tim?
No, but if I have a sore heel, I want longer shoes. No, a sore heel.
Yeah.
I want longer shoes or sandals.
No, not
Listen,
if
we're not
it was
gonna have an
chafing
argument about
at the
it.
side.
No, you said it was chafing on the heel.
Yes, the side of the heel. The heel's not a one-dimensional thing.
Linda!
If you've got a heel in a shoe, if it were too tight that way, the side of your heel...
Linda, darling, I've never known you so aggressive. You're lovely with it, but,
know.
I mean, you don't have a leg to stand on this one. I mean, I'm not a chiropodist, but Tim's exactly right.
No,
a wide
fine,
fitting
okay.
he needs.
Yeah.
Fine. You can stand by a giant duffel coat, but you can't have a
You're
little
not a
bit of
chiropodist.
chafing on the side of your heel, apparently.
28 seconds with you, Tim, on Achilles, starting now.
Not that anybody else in this movie was any better. They were all pretty unpleasant, and they all were...
Chris, challenge.
He said pretty before.
When? Only in the green room, darling, beforehand.
You said something about Brad Pitt being pretty something or other.
It was Brad Pitt.
I don't remember him
he was
saying
pretty
that.
awful.
Yeah, no, he did, didn't he?
I said...
Chris, 24 seconds, Achilles,
believe I
starting now. Starting now, Chris.
Oh, anyway, so there was
Tony, you challenge.
Hesitation.
Yeah, for 3 seconds. Achilles is with you now, Tony. 23
was-
seconds, starting now.
Said to be the mightiest of the Greeks. There may have been some other fellas from this country who might have objected to that.
Chris, challenge.
Oh, no.
What?
No, it's not, is it? No.
An incorrect challenge.
Give me
Tony.
a bonus point anyway.
No.
shouldn't it?
16 seconds, starting now.
He did have a very bad heel, as we all know. Foolishly, he went out and bought the wrong kind of shoes to cure this illness. Advised he was by a foolish chiropodist.
Tim, challenge.
Too foolish?
Yes.
Foolishly, yes, I'm foolish.
Right, thank you very much. Tony, you've still got the subject. 6 seconds. All right, we heard you. Tony, 6 seconds, Achilles, starting now.
Just after I saw the Rails, Achilles, the band, came on. They were terrific. Tim Rice wasn't in them, and that was...
So, Tony Hawk, speaking as to whistle when they gained that extra point, he's now gone into a lead ahead of the other three, who are almost equal in second place. And Tony, your turn to begin. The subject is a fair cop. 60 seconds as usual, starting now.
My favourite fair cop was David Soul in Starsky and Hutch. He used to bundle in and out of cars with his gun cocked in a heroic manner, and I was only a small lad and was impressed by this when it was on the television in the 70s. It's,
Chris, challenge.
That was a sort of hesitation.
That was the hesitation, yes. A fair cop is now with you, Chris, and there are 43 seconds starting now.
I never watched that David Soul programme myself, but I knew a lovely fair cop called Gerald, a beautiful long blonde hair, terrible job keeping it under his helmet. And so I... Wait, was it repetition of foolish?
Usually is with you.
Linda, you challenge first.
Well, that was hesitation.
But yes, correct. 34 seconds, Linda, with you, a fair cop, starting now.
A fair cop would be someone like Sergeant Lewis in Inspector Morse. He always seemed to actually solve the crime, unlike Morse himself, whom I've mentioned before, you may have noticed.
Chris, challenge.
Repetition of Morse?
How did you spot it?
No one's listening.
Chris, a correct challenge, 22 seconds, a fair cop, starting now.
Cops have a very hard time being fair or brunette, in fact, and so it's best that we consider those with red hair to be superior. I'm not sure why I'm saying that.
Tim Challenge.
Several hairs.
Yes. And you have the
Both
subject.
red, fair, brunette,
Yes.
the lot.
And
Keep
13...
your hands off.
He also said superior in a sort of French kind of way.
We've got him banged to rights.
Doesn't matter. Tim, correct challenge. 13 seconds. A fair cop. Starting now.
I rather object to the way that this serious subject has been hijacked by cheap, tacky jokes about blonde policemen. What the subject matter really is far more...
Linda Challenge.
Is.
Yes.
Depends what the meaning of is.
Well, would you care to explain the meaning of is for us, Tim?
No.
So, Linda, you're correct.
Racist, pronounced wrongly.
A fair cop. Back with you, Linda. 3 seconds. Starting now.
A fair cop is what policemen always say when the hand of the law...
Right, so Linda Smith speaking then as the whistle went, getting an extra point. She's now 1 point behind our leader, Tony Hawkes, and she's 1 ahead of Chris Neill and Tim Rice, so equal in second place. And Linda, it's your turn to begin. A brilliant subject for you now, Linda.
Smashing.
Motorway service stations. 60 seconds as usual, starting now.
Motorway service stations are always so disappointing. You get so excited at the thought...
Tim Challenge.
2 so's.
Yes, so exciting.
Oh,
Very good.
Oh, yes. Tough.
harsh but fair.
Yes. And there are 54 seconds for you, Tim, to tell us something about motorway service stations, starting now.
I have passed time on many motorway service stations, including those on the M1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and several others.
So that's what happens if you try to go off in that particular direction. Tony, you challenge first.
Yes, I think a little hesitation.
A little hesitation. Tony, you have the subject of motorway service stations. 44 seconds, starting now.
The most irritating thing about motorway service stations is the way they serve the food under...
Chris Challenge.
Is that, I don't know, is that hesitate? That's food?
Yes, it was
Food.
hesitation, yes. He was going for a different word and it came out food.
Yeah.
So,
I just did a little bit of Swedish just to check you.
we interpret that as hesitation. So, Chris, you have the subject. 37 seconds. Motorway service stations, starting now.
As a rule, motorway...
Linda Challenge.
Hesitation.
No! Ridiculous.
You went, as a rule,
No.
No, as a rule, comma.
well, as you know, Nicholas doesn't allow commas.
There's apostrophes that he doesn't allow.
He doesn't like any punctuation, actually.
You must get the word sword in.
I know. The rules get more arcane every week.
I love...
I'm looking forward to you saying sword on this subject. See how you manage it.
Right. Motorway service stations, Chris, another point to you as well. 35 seconds, starting now.
I had the most delicious swordfish steak with chips. It was mayonnaise on the side and some salad, and I had a Coca-Cola with it. This was on the M1. I don't like the one on the M2 and the one on the M... Oh, bugger.
Tony, you challenge.
Yeah, repetition of M.
Yes. He was so carried away with the success there, they went... We don't know what you said during the laughter, but I'm sure it was all right, Chris.
No, thanks. Right.
Another point to you, Tony. 23 seconds, motorway service stations, starting now.
I was approached by a man with a sword in a motorway service station who resembled Brad Pitt. But after some questioning, he turned out to be an angry centurion who had wandered off a film set nearby. Some people may think I'm making this story up.
Tim.
I'm convinced he is. I think this is deviation.
He only had to resemble Brad Pitt, this man. He didn't have to be Brad Pitt, which makes it more plausible, I think.
I think I give you the benefit of the doubt, Tony, and you have 8 seconds on motorway service stations, starting now.
You're going 75 miles an hour, getting a bit hungry. Shall I pull in? Maybe not. Leave it for another 20...
Chris challenge.
Deviation from the law, you shouldn't go above 70.
Did I not mention that I was on a German motorway?
1 second on Motorway Service Stations. Tony, starting now.
Lulu sang several...
So Tony Hawk's the speaking as a win, gain that extra point, and he's increased his lead at the end of that round over the other three. Chris Neill, your turn to begin. The subject is the art of blowing your nose in public. 60 seconds, starting now.
There are many things you need to learn in this world, and I'm not entirely sure that the art of blowing your nose in public is one of them.
Tim Challenge.
Well, shut up and let someone else speak about it. Bonus point?
I won't give you a bonus point for what you said, but I will give you a bonus point for that comment when you said bonus point. And Chris was interrupted. He gets a point for that, of course. He keeps the art of blowing your nose in public, starting now.
It's a bit like learning the best way to fart in front of a nun. Not one of life's essentials, really.
Tim Challenge.
Well, you should always let her go first.
Chris has another point. He has the art of blowing your nose in public. 49 seconds, starting now.
If you must treat it as an art, the best thing to do is to wear your birthday suit and out of your very carefully placed pocket produce a beautifully, crisply ironed handkerchief and...
Cinder Challenge.
Well, there were several things, really. I thought there was a bit of hesitation there, sort of, going like that. A bit,
Yeah.
sounded a bit... Did you not think?
I didn't say sword either.
That was
He
another
was
thing.
stumbling a little over his words.
Yeah, stumbling over hesitation.
No.
Just babbling incoherently.
He has the benefit of the doubt. He keeps the subject, and there are 35 seconds. The art of blowing your nose in public, starting now.
Of course, if it's your responsibility to blow somebody else's nose in public, the best thing to do is to approach them quietly.
Tony Challenge.
I think we had the best before, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's right,
The
yes.
best thing and the best...
So, Tony, you have another point. You have the subject, and you have 31 seconds. The art of blowing your nose in public, starting now.
If you are Picasso, Monet, or such like, the art of blowing your nose in public is easier to achieve than, say, if you are a plumber.
Right, Tim Challenge.
2 if you are.
If you are, yes. Repetition. Tim,
Yes.
with you now. The art of blowing your nose in public, 22 seconds, starting now.
There are some subjects which just don't grab you. I'm sorry to say this is one of them, but I'll do my...
Linda Challenge.
I'll have a go then.
Linda's got her first bonus point. Tim was interrupted. He keeps the
Wait,
subject.
Linda, it's lovely.
17 seconds, Tim. The art of blowing your nose in public, starting now.
If you have the desperate urge to blow your nose in public, I would recommend that you get the members of the public down to the smallest possible number.
Linda Challenge.
2 publics.
It's on the side card.
Oh, it's on the card. Oh,
Blowing your nose in public.
I feel such a fool.
So, an incorrect challenge, Tim. You've still got it. And 11 seconds. The art of blowing your nose in public, starting now.
Slink into the shade of a coolabah tree where there will be very few people there to witness this disgusting action, which I cannot in any way
Chris challenged.
Can I just ask, what do you do if there isn't a coolabah tree present?
Let's,
A duffel coat's just as good.
Tim, you were interrupted, so you get another point. And you have 2 seconds on the art of blowing your nose in public, starting now.
if the aforementioned arboreal thing...
Right. Oh, we're moving into the last round. Let me give you the situation as we move into the final round. Well, Linda Smith, for once, is trailing just a little in 4th place. She's only just behind Chris Neill in 3rd place, but equal in the lead are Tim Rice and Tony Hawks. And it's Tim, your turn to begin. The subject is my motto. Tell us something about that in this game, starting now.
My motto is, a friend in need is a pest. There is another very useful motto, which is, a one-armed man deals cards slowly. These mottos have got me through my life without any cock-ups or sword problems whatsoever. I have had an extremely successful existence based round these vital proverbs. I wish somebody You would interrupt me.
It's an evil game, isn't it?
Yeah, to be
Tony,
honest,
you
3 in a
challenge.
row, you can be sent home. They're coming to get him now.
There are 38 seconds available for you, Tony, on My Motto, starting now.
I've always liked the motto, "You're never too old to be told off by a park keeper." I made it up myself, and I think it's true of life. A bird in hand is definitely worth two in the bush, so the expression goes, without that middle word in there that I...
Chris Jones.
We had Swedish before with Sport, and now we've got Mittel from Germany.
We'll give you the benefit of the doubt, hesitation, with you, Chris, now on 17 seconds available. My Motto, starting now.
My motto would be, if at first you can't succeed, why not try and get a bonus point? It seems to work very, very well. Oh, bugger.
Tony, yes.
Well, we've had wish, 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 and very, very... Frankly, they need to study harder in their downtime between...
I know, but the audience love it, don't they? 10 seconds are still available on My Motto with you, Tony, starting now.
My motto, absque labore nihil, in work, in play, and life...
Didn't the challenge?
Deviation from the English language.
Yes, but...
Unless he's speaking in tongues, I don't know.
Latin, mottos in Latin.
Linda, there's nothing in the thing. You could actually do the whole round in French if you wanted to.
Really?
Yes. I don't think it would go over very well with most of the audience of the BBC.
It'll probably go over better than Latin, I think, really.
But he didn't go on too long, and he didn't deviate or hesitate or repeat anything.
No, I know.
So,
Quite
it's
right.
an incorrect challenge. Tony, another point to you, and 5 seconds, My Motto, starting now.
C'est extraordinaire que j'ai l'opportunité de parler en français maintenant parce qu'il y a beaucoup de gens...
For those of you who don't understand French, let me just tell you that Linda Smith was just in 4th place, Chris Neill was in 3rd place, he was just behind Tim Rice, but out in the lead with a magnificent 19 points was Tony Hawks, so he was the winner, that's why it's up there. We have reached the end of the show. Alas, alas, alas. It only remains for me to say thank you to these 4 intrepid and magnificent players of the game. Tony Hawks, Linda Smith, Chris Neill and Tim Rice. I thank Dennis Staplehurst, who's helped me with the score, blown a whistle so well for me after the 60 seconds had gone. We thank Claire Jones, who is our producer. We are indebted to Ian Messiter, who created this lovely game. And I'm grateful to the man in the front row who gave me the strepsils. My voice has just held out through the flu. I apologise to any listeners if I sounded croaky, but our audience here have been lovely. From our lovely audience, from me, Nicholas Parsons, thank you for tuning in. Be with us the next time we play Just a Minute.